So I've just collected a fun item from somebody locally to me on Facebook selling. Here it is. It's a spice rack. It's bigger than I thought it was going to be, and I love it. It's just full of gorgeous glass bottles with cork tops, and I have great plans for it.
In this house, I am tending to leafy life, reaching green and bending toward the light. Leafy life, this is my leafy life.
Hello, welcome back to Leafy Life. I'm Susie, and this is my space to talk about the ups and downs of sharing my home with houseplants. So today I'm really excited actually because I'm finally getting to grips with my spice rack, which I collected from Facebook a week or two ago and cleaned it all up, and I'm going to show you getting it all filled and into use and into position here in my kitchen. First I needed to remove the labels, and they peeled off really easily, so I'm glad I didn't have to deal with any awkward residue. Then I put all the cork lids to one side, ready to wash the glass jars. Hello, darling. You're so tall. So this is my kitchen windowsill, and I've been using it for tiny plants for a while now. Various little snippets of things, and this is a kind of ever-changing selection of plants here. Whatever is needing sort of bright light and kind of regular attention, I just keep things here, so I keep a regular eye on them while I'm washing up or cooking or in and out of the kitchen. It's easy for me to just give things a quick drink or kind of pull things off and on for yeah, whatever needs this space really. And as things get bigger, I move them on to a proper home. It's kind of like a little greenhouse area, being quite a sunny, bright, warm area with the sunshine here. And yeah, I tend to keep sort of little things and slightly traily things, and I give things height by putting them on extra pots and stands, just so it sort of makes the height a bit more varied and gives everything a little bit more chance to get even sunshine. But yeah, it's going to have a bit of a shake up today. So initially I was going to put it at the back of the window here and sort of move some stuff off, put it there. Then I wondered about having it here in this space, which could also work. It fits really nicely there, and I've got this big glass jar from the tip, which I'm going to be setting up as a terrarium. Sorry, the clencher is hiding that slightly. So this is going to be a terrarium project soon. I've never done a terrarium before, or said it apparently. Yeah, I've never set up a terrarium or bought or owned a terrarium at all. So that's exciting, something new and fun to try. I think it's going to live there because that won't be in too bright a spot because it's back from the window. So yeah, I'm wondering about having the spice rack here because it does fit nicely, but as I'm going to be using definitely the top row for props, for propagating cuttings and things, I really want that to have brighter light. I just think that round this corner it might end up being a bit too shady. Yeah, so I think I will put it in the windowsill, in the window area, and I'll just talk you through how I'm going to use it. Here it is. We have 15 of these bottles. They all came with corks, which I have put to one side. So yeah, 15 in total, 3 different shelves. Obviously the second 2 shelves don't have a lot of clearance because of the shelves above. So I'm going to use this for 2 different purposes. The top shelf will be for propagations because they have all that room above them for the corks off and to just be just be open with water and lots of room for whatever cuttings I want to put in, whether they're tall or trailing or whatever. And then the bottom 2 shelves, it's going to kind of all be to play for, I think, because I thought I could just put some pots there, little pots, kind of shorter than these bottles. So take the bottles off and put things like this is a little propagating string of bananas, so you know, things like that are much stouter, but yeah, should fit in that area. So things like that in little pots, or just things that are propagating in water in shorter glass jars, which I have lots of. Yeah, and then the other way I'm going to use it is that I will put some corks on some of these, and I'm going to do some tiny terrariums. Tiny terrariums, exciting. So as I said, I've never created or owned a terrarium at all, ever, and it's something I'd like to try. My son is very excited about trying that. He loves moss and he just wants to get stuck in and have a go. So we're going to do that at some point soon. So yeah, I'm going to take some of these off and put them to one side for that purpose and have some fun with that and just see what fits in here, really, see what needs the space. I think I'm going to just pull everything off this windowsill. I'll just let you see that a bit easier. I'm just going to pull everything off this windowsill and get this unit in place there against the glass at the back, and then just start seeing what fits in and have fun tinkering. So I've decided that I'm going to take off the middle row, ready for some little pots. Ta-da! So those tiny plants fit in really nicely and I'm really pleased with how it looks. I'll tell you all their names and give you some close-ups shortly. So I'm just going to fill in around the spice rack now with some bigger plants and other bits and bobs. It was such a windy day outside and it felt so nice to be indoors and cosy and tinkering about gently, arranging pots and plants. Okay, so here we have a string of bananas. This is from an eBay cutting months ago. They arrived looking absolutely awful. Not as in like they weren't broken, they weren't rotten or anything, and they weren't ill, but they just didn't look how I expected them to. I had some before a few years ago which arrived looking really luscious and pearly and shiny and just really lovely, and they took so quickly and they propagated so fast just in soil, and they became very quickly just the most healthy and full plant. And I just expected that to happen again with these. I thought I was ordering the same thing, but it may have been a slight variant. Actually, yeah, I think it was a purple flush last time, which have the purpley stems. This one's very green. I really thought I'd ordered a purple flush. Anyway, it arrived just looking kind of just very stringy. It just looked quite woody stems, so I don't know what was going on there, but anyway, I potted them up and nothing happened for so long, and then eventually they just suddenly took off, and yeah, looking much more luscious, much more bright green and healthy. And just last night actually, they had got quite long, like down to sort of here, so last night I snipped off about half of the stems, half the length off most of the stems, and just got the end of a little paintbrush handle and poked it in the soil and made a little narrow opening for them. Took the lower nodes off, the lower fleshy leafy bits off to expose the nodes, and poked it into the soil. So they should root soon and just it'll become a fuller plant. I mean, it already is a fuller plant now, but yeah, hopefully they will take and carry on growing and it will get longer, and I'll keep on doing that until I feel like it's full enough at the top. Yeah, and let them get nice and long and dangly. Then this one is I'm talking over myself here because I realised I don't know the name of this plant. If anybody knows its name, please let me know in the comments. It's got very thin leaves and they have a little bit of a kind of reddish hue when they just come out. And this one was a very cheap little baby plant, and it was struggling for a bit, not really growing for a while, and I wasn't really sure what I was doing wrong, but I just kept going and moved it into a brighter spot actually, and eventually it suddenly kicked off. So it's got some long tendrils now, and yeah, really starting to stretch out, and it's looking lovely. Next we have these little pots across here on the spice rack. I'm just going to make that a bit clearer and brighter. So we have a Peperomia prostrata. I don't think this is a very good view, hold on. Ah, that's better. So here we have a little baby Peperomia prostrata. It seems to be doing quite well. It was from the plant swap, and yeah, I'm hoping it will grow and start to stretch out. But yeah, it seems happy so far settling in. Then we have a string of dolphins. This is another eBay cutting, and again, I did this in the past. I ordered some cuttings of a string of dolphins, and they took off fine. But yeah, this one hasn't done a lot. It came in one little section, which I cut up, I think, into two sections, and one of them actually rotted quite quickly, so that's gone, and there's just this piece remaining, and seems to be doing okay. It has grown a tiny bit. It's just not fast at all. I'm sure that when I've grown this before from cuttings, it took off much quicker and then was a little bit more vigorous. But yeah, I've been quite surprised at how slow this has been. I've had it for months. It was a really small eBay cutting. It looked really healthy when it arrived. I wonder if I didn't have it in a bright enough spot when I first potted it up. And it's just taking a while to root and kind of get going. The top growth there is fairly recent. So it's doing something, just not a lot yet, but I do love it. I love the shape of these, and I love all the string of whatnots, really, string of bananas, string of dolphins, and all of those. I just like how dangly they are and how delicate they are, and I love the colour, kind of like nice pea green. So yeah, just giving it time and space and light and keeping an eye on it. We'll see how it gets along. Then we have this little piece of cactus. This is from a cactus in my son's room. I do not know its name because I don't seem to retain any cacti names, I'm afraid. They're not my love, but my son adores them. So we have a few around the house, and the one that this came from is doing really well. It's spread out in its pot a lot, seems really happy and beautiful. But yeah, this piece, this bigger piece on the right here was kind of loose in the pot. I don't know if it got jiggled or something, but I decided to take it out and just grow it separately. And those little pieces on the left are rather cute. Yeah, it is a really tiny little pot, and it seems to be doing fine. So it's living here for now. I don't have any plans for where it's going to end up, but it's just happy here for now. Then we have a bit more of the same Peperomia rotundifolia. This is from a slightly more recent version of the plant. And this piece broke off in the car on the way home, sadly. And I just decided to give it a chance in some perlite, see how it goes, and I checked it last night, and it has got roots already. And actually, these tiny little leaves, I'm sure they weren't there the other day. So yeah, that's a happy little thing. I'll pop it back in with the other plant when I know it's, really got going. Then we have a little piece of a Dieffenbachia here. This is the one that is very, very white in the middle of the leaf and sort of speckly green border. So we'll see how this goes. This was fairly recent. I put it into the soil, and I don't know how the roots are doing yet, but it hasn't died or withered or rotted. So yeah, there is hope that it might take off. We'll just keep an eye on that. Then over here we have a variegated string of pearls. I'm just going to move back. So this is growing in a little house pot that came with. It's one of those ones that comes as a little pack, so you can grow your own muscari or little bulbs at Christmas time. And then I used it with a candle and things in it, and yeah, it is now home to some string of pearls, which I think is rather nice. It's actually part of a string of pearls. The other half is somewhere else. Can't remember where I've put it now. Anyway, over in another window. Anyway, yeah, I did it in two pieces because it completely got knocked out of its pot, and I wanted to kind of have some insurance that if one bit didn't kind of work, then the other bit might, and they're actually both doing okay, so that's cool. So maybe one day I'll pot them up into a bigger home, but yeah, it seems to like this windowsill. I haven't had any issues with this one. It is beautiful. I know it's not like big and impressive and really, really full, but I don't need it to be that to enjoy how beautiful it is. I just think it's gorgeous. And actually, I kind of prefer just seeing a few threads of the beads. It kind of helps me to appreciate their delicacy even more. Yeah, I'm going to just show you a close-up of the lovely variegatedness. You can see now a bit easier how lovely and stripy they are. Yeah, I just love this. I was really wanting a variegated string of pearls. I can't remember if I've told you this story, but basically I was admiring them in a shop, knowing that I shouldn't be buying them that day, and looked away for a second from where my toddler was looking at things, and didn't realise that they were hanging down low enough for her to grab onto them, and she pulled it down. She was just, I think, trying to look at and touch the strings, and the whole pot fell down. Thankfully didn't hurt her or anybody else, didn't break, but everything fell out, and it wasn't the kind of thing I could just put back on a shelf and think, oh, it's okay, let's move on. I felt responsibly that I needed to buy the plant which was a mixed blessing because I wasn't really supposed to be spending money that day. We were there for other reasons, to meet a friend in the cafe. But yeah, so I did end up coming home with this lovely, lovely variegated string of pearls after all. And there we go. Anyway, it's beautiful, it seems happy, and the new growth comes in a little bit purpley. There's not so much of that to show right now, but over the summer recently, when it was putting out new beads, they would come in really beautifully purple and kind of white, and then as they mature they lose that. But you can maybe just see on this side of that one, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it is a touch of purple blush there, and yeah, I just think it's all very lovely. Next we have a turtle vine. I do have a lot of turtle vine as it's one of my real favourite plants, but this is a little variegated one with a sort of pinky hue on some of the bits as well. And yeah, this is from an eBay cutting. It was quite a little cutting. It was rooted, but it was in quite a dense soil that I thought wouldn't be very free draining. So I rinsed it all off and then I put it into water and watched the roots form, which did happen quite quickly, as always happens with turtle vine, pretty quickly, especially in the growing season as we're sort of coming towards, well, we're just out the end of summer and into autumn, being middle of September. And yeah, it's been growing really well since I put it into this little pot of soil, and over the last few weeks it has all the vines have got a lot longer. So last night I just chopped them all in half and took off the lower leaves of those cuttings and just popped it straight back into the soil. So I'm hoping that those will be happy. I have no reason to think they wouldn't, because it's a pretty reliable rooter, whether it's in soil or water. But I do enjoy watching the roots form in the water. You get a sense of how quickly they form, and just gives you a bit more I guess confidence to know that they're going to be happy in the soil when you do pot them on. But yeah, I've done it both ways and it's always been fine. Then we have a kind of sad little pot. This is just a one leaf cutting at the moment. I just cut off a leaf from it last night. It's some sort of pothosy thing, and I really can't remember where it came from. I think this, I'm not sure. It might have been an eBay cutting, but it's just never grown. And I feel like I'm giving eBay cuttings a bad name, but not at all. I've had some really great things from eBay, but yeah, this one just hasn't been very happy. I actually repotted it last night into a smaller pot with more bark, in the hope that I could kind of kickstart something happening, because it's been sitting here on this windowsill for months, and it did put out a new leaf, but it was tiny and it kind of never really fully opened, and it was just, it's like it's been really stunted somehow. So when I took it out last night, the roots were fine. It actually has a really strong set of roots now, so maybe it's just been taking time forming those. So we'll see how it does. Hopefully it will burst out a new leaf soon, and hopefully it will be a nice, strong, healthy one, and it will go from there. But yeah, I'll keep an eye on it and keep you posted. Then we have a fishbone cactus here. This is from the plant swap. Yeah, these are quite young little cuttings, so just going to keep them in a sunny place and keep an eye. And this here is some little pieces of a jelly bean succulent. These are just ones that fell off, and I let them dry out a tiny bit and then popped them into some perlite. So we'll see if they root and form a new little baby plant. Here we have some string of bananas, little pieces on their own, just straight into the soil. They are rooting, but currently nothing green popping up. It's taking a while. I think this is quite a slow way to get them going, but I just didn't want to waste the possibility for more plant from this string of bananas, because I love it. And these were when I trimmed some of it and then poked some of it back into the soil, so obviously it's good to take off the green bits so that they don't rot under the soil. So that's what these are, and yeah, I'm hoping that at some point something will spark above the soil and we'll just await that and see if it works. I've never done it this way with any success before. I have done it before where they've rotted, but this is quite a nice free draining substrate, and we'll just see how it goes. And here we have a little pillow plant. This is something that I love to grow. I've grown it before in our old house from an eBay cutting that was just really vigorous, and this one the same. It arrived looking really healthy, although it's really little. I think it was just one little strand. Yeah, one little strand that wasn't rooted. I popped it straight into soil and it did start growing straight away over the summer, and then once it started getting quite long, rather than keep it as one strand, I just cut it into 3 and popped it back in. So this is 3 sections. I think that was the original section there. No, that was the original section, and a bit there which has got some new growth. This one was the tip, and that is now getting longer again, and this one has actually got 3 vertical little branches now coming up. So yeah, it's really succulent. It's just a lovely plant that seems to really like bright light and to not dry out, but it is quite succulent, so it doesn't want to be sitting in moisture all the time. But it's quite a small pot, so just it dries out in the windowsill, and then I just water it when it's ready. But yeah, my original one was, it formed a beautiful cascade actually, quite quickly, and I just think it's beautiful. It's quite delicate, nice shaped leaves, lovely pale green, bright colour. Yeah, I'd happily have many of these all around the house hanging up, and just, yeah, coming over the edges of shelves and things. So I highly recommend it if you can get yourself a cutting or a plant of this. It's easy to grow and it's very beautiful. Last little area, I have a glass with some moss in. This is just garden moss that my son collected for me, knowing that I want to get into some terrariums soon, and I've just been keeping it moist in case it is good to use in the terrariums. It seems happy so far. This is a little tiny end section of Scindapsus wet stick, so I'm just popping that there and see what happens. I've got lots of other Scindapsus in water and it's rooting fine. But yeah, that was just a tiny piece, so it's on its own there. And then these are bits of Crassula tetragona. Thank you, Hayley at Mint Plants, for recognising that, and my friend Lizzie, who also agreed that it was that. I'm useless at finding out the names of succulents, but this is a lovely little succulent from a full plant that I got at a local florist, and it's on my husband's windowsill looking rather wonderful. And the bits fall off so easily on that plant. So yeah, these bits I've just popped into soil and see if they take. If they do, then I'll have some extra plants of it, and I'm sure the kids will be delighted to take those on. So yeah, see how they do. Okay, time to fill up these lovely, lovely bottles with propagations. Okay, they're all filled with water. Right, here's the first cutting. We have a Scindapsus. This is a lovely healthy plant that I have upstairs that has got rather long and dangly, and I just wanted to have some fun with propagating it. I have got other pieces of this that are a bit bigger, and they're in some bigger vessels elsewhere, but this one hasn't rooted yet, and I'm just gonna see if it'll be happy here in the window. So that's just gonna sit happily there with the node under the water there. I might just top it up. Oh no, it's fine, the water level's fine. So that's that one. Next I have this Hoya pubicalyx splash from the plant swap. Sorry, that was me just punching the tap. And the gerbils are quite noisy in the background. So yeah, that's just going to transfer over into the next jar. The node below the water again. Then I have a couple of funny little pieces of Peperomia scandens variegata. These came out of a full plant, and yeah, these bits, why have I got these separate bits? I can't even remember what was going on about why these are separate. Oh, that's it. I repotted 2 little plants into one plant, and for the size of pot I had and the rest of the pieces that were much bigger, these just didn't seem like they were going to work or fit with that pot. So here they are. I've tried to get as much of the soil out of the roots as possible by gently kind of massaging it out and also washing it, rinsing it under the tap. That's as good as I can get it without damaging the roots further. So with these, although I'm putting them in water to help the roots along and propagate like that, they will hopefully go into a pot soon, but I just want to keep an eye on them and see if they're happy, and I will be changing their water regularly because of the soil being still around the roots a bit. So let's just see, so you can see it loosening a bit already. Anyway, so we'll just rest those there. Now we have this Ripsalis pilocarpa, I think it is. It's wonderfully hairy. I've shown you this in a previous video because I got this from the plant swap. Currently no signs of rooting. It's been there, I don't know, a week and a bit. But it's fine. Nothing bad is happening, nothing's rotting, and I expect this just takes a little while to root, but I've never done it before. Let me know if any of you have rooted or propagated Ripsalis from cuttings. I do love this. It's so tufty, and I feel like it's getting even hairier. I'm sure it wasn't this hairy when I first got it. I feel like it was more like this. If you can see how that one's more green with just tiny little bits of hair, and then these ones have really tufted up, especially at the tips. But yeah, it's kind of looking a bit snowy, so I'm just going to transfer those into the next pot. Hope that they'll fit and that will work. Just move that one out of the way. I could get in there with the peperomia, a bit more room. Hard getting them all in. They're a bit jiggly jaggly. They want to pop out. There we go. I think that's fine. Might need to be on the end of that one because it takes up a lot of room. I'll just, hey, stop getting in there. Okay, there we go. And then the last one, I'm really excited about this. So let me show you. Okay, what I have here is a little dish of cuttings of my Tetrastigma objectum, which is a beautiful plant that I absolutely love, very viney and traily. And I decided to take cuttings from it. Once I knew that I'd booked tickets for the plant swap, I wanted to go around the house seeing what I could sort of take with me, and I decided to chance it on taking some cuttings of these and popping them in water. Sadly, they didn't do anything very quickly by the time in time for the plant swap, so I didn't want to sort of take them along and not be able to guarantee somebody that they would grow happily, but they have since rooted, so I'm just going to show you that. So far it's just this section that has roots. Yeah, they're beautiful, pure white and getting longer every day. So we'll see if the other pieces root as well, but yeah, this is looking good. So this is just going to go into the jar by itself. There we go. So there we go. All 5 little jars filled. So I'm just going to pop them onto the top shelf of the spice rack and then just let it all be. There we go, they're all in. Oh, I'm really pleased. I love this. This was such a good find and I'm really pleased at how it's turned out. I think it has made this space even more just enjoyable for me to look at and be around and tinker with. So everything should be happy there for now, and this is obviously a space that I'll be ringing the changes with, because you know things will come and go, things will grow and move on, and new things will come along that need to be in water or in tiny pots or whatever. So yeah, I'm just really pleased that this is now up and running. Oh, do you know, I forgot to show you this when I was going around all of them. This is the little Hoya curtsy eye, one of the cuttings. Can you see it through there okay? It's a dinky little thing. yeah, it's a bit misty or condensationy, but that's how it should be. That's just a little cutting in perlite, so that's in the window to keep it happy. So when you next see this, I think it will be when I'm doing some tiny terrariums with these guys. I'm looking forward to that. I need to gather some information, gather a few more ingredients, and then get going with that soon. Well, I've really enjoyed doing that little project, and all done just in time for the school run. Hooray! I have to zip off. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. And yeah, I hope the gerbils haven't been too distracting over there, scurrying about. And if you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and spread the word if you can, and share, and yeah, stay tuned for the next one. Bye!